Welcome to Let's Talk Football with me, Chris.
And me, Richard.
The podcast bringing you the latest in football news. Every week we discuss all the big talking points from the world of football and preview all the action in the week to come.
In this week's podcast, glory, Man United. With the first trophy up for grabs this season heading to Old Trafford. Arsenal overcome a tricky afternoon at the King Power. City hit 4 in Bournemouth. And the pressure continues to grow on Potter at Chelsea as they lose to Tottenham. And also, glory, Man United.
You see, secret Man United fan, as always, knew it. Get rid of that Tottenham season ticket and get a Man United one. In other news, let's talk football, shall we? Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
I should mention that I
You always write that nice middle bit that you say really well.
Yeah.
Really
I am told what to say in the intro. I am being held against my will, please.
He writes it himself. I don't know what he's going on about.
Me.
Obviously, a massive Man United fan, and we all knew it. Yeah, I'm happy. What a week!
I bet you're happy.
What a week! What a week for being a Man United fan.
Knocking Barcelona out in the Europa League.
It feels good. Everyone's saying as well it's a mediocre Barca team. That Barcelona team literally beat the Real Madrid team that smacked 5 past Liverpool.
Yeah.
And won the Copa del Rey, so I'm not having this nonsense.
No. And then, obviously, you go to Wembley.
And
the experience tells in the end.
I think it definitely was. I think it was that. I think, if you look at it from a Newcastle point of view, they dominated the ball pretty much for the whole game.
Yeah.
But they
didn't do anything.
Didn't have the quality.
No.
I think, Maximum had moments.
One shot in the first half.
Yeah, particularly in the first half, he had moments when I think Delo was struggling against him a little bit. Yeah. Obviously, he got the early yellow card, but once Wan-Bissaka came on at half time, he was a non-entity. It was unbelievable. I was surprised because I'd said it to someone last week. I said, Wan-Bissaka will start both games.
Yeah.
I just thought it instantly because I thought
that could have been costly
defensively against Barca, we need him. Yeah. But also, I was thinking of St. Maximum, and I was just like, well, you want to make him a non-entity, you just put Aaron Wan-Bissaka on him because you just leave him to keep sending him on the outside. Yeah. And they had moments, Newcastle. They might feel a little bit disappointed that.
Well, Eddie Howe said that they didn't play to their full potential.
No,
which
but
I think he's right.
They haven't played well for the last couple of weeks, have they? They've been in poor form.
Really, no.
And I just think they're missing something up front. Callum Wilson is a very, very good striker. But when you start to get to when you start to get to the level that they want to get to as a football club, you need a step up in quality, particularly in that part of the pitch.
Yeah. Goals win games, folks.
Yeah. The first goal United score, it was a daft free kick to give away, I think.
And Eddie Howe said they didn't defend it very well either.
Yeah, they didn't defend it very well. And the foul itself, I thought, you don't need to go in there. And, it's just as if he's panicked because he's seen it's Rashford and he's one-on-one with his defender. So Gomes has just come in and tried to force him off the ball, but has done it a little bit too aggressively, when really all he needed to do was be there.
From what I saw of Gomes, I thought he looked like a bit of a bull in a china shop.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he hasn't
was just charging round.
He hasn't been playing, has he?
No.
You know what I mean? And it's
on an occasion like that, calmer heads prevail.
Yeah, indeed, and you saw that obviously with the experience that United have. You got 2 Champions League winners, and then you got World Cup winners.
Yeah, after you got the second goal, you did just kind of play the game out.
We just looked after it, and it was well managed, and
we had a break if you could.
Yeah, we had opportunities going forward. I mean, not until really the end with Bruno.
Karius played well, to be fair.
Karius had a great game. I mean, that save from Weghorst.
Yeah.
First of all, that shot from Weghorst. No one was expecting that.
Where's that been?
No one was expecting that. I didn't even realise, because of the shot that he had earlier, I didn't even realise he was left-footed. Because the shot that he had with his left foot earlier in the game was so bad.
Yeah.
He didn't catch it at all, and that was a really good chance for him, really, to really make himself a hero.
See, you have something in common with Wout Weghorst.
What's that?
You're a lefty.
Yeah, I am a lefty.
I remember these things.
I'd have probably scored that one, though, if I'm honest. I'll back myself for that one in the box. I'll back myself to finish that. We all feel that though, don't we? We all feel that way. But yeah, I thought it was very solid performance from United.
Yeah.
Overall, I think Casemiro's just the hate. I mean, Graham Souness's just comments early in the season where it's like, I don't think he's a top player. I don't think he's had good players around him. He can't, he's not this. He's not one of the best players in the world. I don't buy it. I mean, I haven't heard from him. I mean, I think he doubled down on it actually a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, there is a reason why Graham Souness has not been a manager at a top club for quite some time.
I mean, were Liverpool really a top club when he was up there? That was his last big job, right?
Ooh, steady now.
Wasn't it? If you want to call that a big job back then.
It was probably a big job to take it on, after Kenny.
Yeah, didn't do that great with it. I mean, he followed Kenny later and all, didn't he? He went to try and take Blackburn back.
Yes.
That didn't work out well for him either, did it?
Either, no. And then he ended up at Newcastle.
I mean, to be fair, we always have to remember Graham Souness was the guy that took on. Was it whose brother was it who was never a footballer that he took on when he was at Southampton, and he signed the player.
Oh God!
Was it? I want to say it was both. Was it a Boateng?
I think it's something Dar. Is it?
Yeah.
Bar?
Yeah, and he took the guy on, and he'd never played a game of football in his life. He'd put him on the pitch as well. He actually put him on the pitch.
Ibrahim Bar, I want to say.
He actually put him on the pitch, and it's like, surely you'd have seen in training he was nowhere near a professional footballer, let alone a Premier League footballer.
Ooh, Southampton, desperate time calls for desperate measures, I guess.
I mean, they'd probably take him now. They'd probably take him right now.
At the moment, yeah.
But
Newcastle's time will come.
I think that it will.
That's the building block.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a step for them.
It's a step in the right direction, at least. Obviously, they lost by the same score in the FA Cup final in '99.
Oh yeah, do you want the other good fact about that?
Go on.
Who are the two goal scorers in that FA Cup final?
Sheringham and
Scholes. Do you know what squad numbers they wore?
10 and 19.
18.
Oh, 18 for Scholes. Damn.
Yep. And you know what squad numbers scored for United? 10 and 18.
Nice.
Crazy.
Oh, I love a bit of symmetry.
Crazy. You're telling me this world's not a simulation, guys? Come on.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy that, Rashford and Casemiro get the goals at different order, back other way round.
Other way round, yeah, because Teddy got the first goal in the
It's a bit of an 18 sandwich in 10 bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like things like that.
It made me hungry now. Don't do that.
Absolutely crazy. And I can't believe they tried to not give Rashford that goal, by the way.
Yes, they gave it to the defender.
They gave it to Rashford. Then they took it off him at half time.
And then they gave it back to him.
Then they gave it back to him then later on.
That's 18 goals in 17 appearances, isn't it?
Yeah, he's 25th of the season now. He's on fire and scoring goals in cup finals.
Yeah.
So you know it. But this week it doesn't hold up for United. There's no rest.
Nope.
There's obviously the FA Cup this week against West Ham. Is it the sixth round this one? I can't
round 5 of the FA Cup
round.
Midweek. Yeah.
Fifth round. So last 16 of the FA Cup. And then obviously we've got Liverpool at the weekend at Anfield. It's always a massive game for United. No matter how badly Liverpool are doing, that's still going to be a tough game.
And then I think you're back into European action. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got Real Betis then next Thursday in the Europa League. And it's just game after game after game. I mean, and our run in March. Yeah. Our run in March isn't going to be a simple time at all in the league. I think we've got Brighton away in that period. We've got Newcastle. Yeah, but our next 5 or 6 league games. I mean, we've got Southampton at home after the Betis game, which I'm hoping might just be a chance for us to do bits. But you don't want to, Southampton are in a relegation fight. They're not going to be wanting to give anything away.
Keep the pressure on, absolutely. Yeah.
And Pep. Oh, Pep! Did you hear Pep's press conference?
What
he's rattled.
Say?
Oh, he's rattled.
No.
He's rattled. He had a little dig about United's spend.
All right, okay.
He said, they've spent all that money and won. won the EFL Cup or whatever it was. They probably need to spend a little bit more because he's getting salty. But when you look at the actual facts, Ten Hag has spent around 200 million.
Yeah.
Or something around that number.
Around that number, yeah.
We've got a cup, but Pep had to spend 500 odd million before he won his first cup at City. So I think he needs to wind his neck in a little bit, but he's getting a bit tetchy because United are doing well and he doesn't like it. We've got him rattled. He said something else as well. I can't remember what else it was, but he's rattled. He's ever since the charges have come.
He's gone on the offensive. To be fair,
he just seemed to have lost his head a bit because he's obviously having a kick. He's having a pop at us. He had that weird interview after the Champions League game. I don't know if you saw his
Daniel Levy as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw his interview after the game, the midweek game that they drew. Who were they playing? Was it Frank? Who was they playing?
RB Leipzig.
RB Leipzig. That's it. And it was a genuine question. He was just asking them about, are your players having to travel in Europe and doing your thing? Do you think that the game was affected by that? And he was like, I thought my players played real. I don't know what you're going on about. We're coming away in the Champions League. It's not meant to be easy. Blah blah blah. It was really weird. Really weird. He seems to have just lost the plot a little bit. I mean, luckily at the minute they're getting results.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they got over the disappointment of drawing with Nottingham Forest by smashing Bournemouth.
Yeah, gave them a beating, but I mean it's Bournemouth, so they're struggling. They're struggling. Yeah. There's no disrespect to Bournemouth, they are struggling right now. So if they're going to face anybody that's going to help them get over a bad result, that's going to be it. I mean, who have they got this weekend? Let's just have a look. They have Newcastle at home. I mean, Newcastle. It'll be interesting to see Newcastle's reaction, actually.
Yeah, because I think Dan Burns said it, didn't he? That let's not let it affect our season. But you kind of can't help it.
But it could, couldn't it? It's like they're out the top four at the minute now. They've dropped out of that.
Yeah. So
they really need to have a refocus and see the final and the performance, because overall it wasn't a bad performance.
No.
In the final.
No,
take
that forward. Your chances,
take that forward really into this game, but they need. I mean, luckily they've got because they're out the cup, aren't they? So
they're out the FA Cup. Yeah.
So they've got a full week to kind of reset themselves,
and this is the only thing they've got to concentrate on now. So
that European fight. Because I think
Newcastle will be happy whether it's Europa League or Champions League.
I agree with that, but the problem will be is that they need to make sure that it is one of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Liverpool, even though they drew at the weekend and they still look very shaky,
they're awoken.
They're not far away.
Yeah.
They're not far away at all. You think that they're way off it, but they're not. I mean, they've got games in hand on Tottenham in fourth, haven't they? Which
they've got 2 games in hand on us.
So if they did win them, they'd put them within 3 points.
Yeah.
So they're not out of the top 4 race at all. Newcastle.
Chelsea, on the other hand.
Well, we'll get to Chelsea. We'll get to Chelsea. I'm still talking about Newcastle and their European hopes. Because Newcastle they have 2 games on Spurs as well.
Yes.
Which would put them back into the fourth place.
At this time of the season, and I say this is an old cliche.
Yeah, points in the bag, blah blah blah.
Points on the board rather than games in hand, all day long.
True, but they have got them, and they are opportunities for them.
Yes,
that you don't have.
Indeed.
Yeah. Fulham are flying. But Brighton have Brighton have got games in hand as well, by the way. But
got 3 games in hand as well, yeah.
on you guys, and that'd put them only a point behind you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right. Calm down.
Jeez. Brighton. I mean, there's no guarantee Brighton winning them 3 games in hand, by the way.
Brentford, why not? Brentford have got 2 games in hand as well.
One of their game in hands against us. So I'm hoping that we get the revenge on Brighton after the humiliation at the start of the season. We are and they have got to go to Old Trafford.
It's going to be very uncomfortable for the rest of the season for everybody chasing a European place.
Yeah, but I think there's some teams in there that'll go. We gave it a good effort. We go again next season. So I think the likes of Fulham
will probably take a top 10 finish.
Yeah, I mean,
at this point.
they're in good shape, and they have
If
to
they
look
finish above Chelsea, they'll be bloody delighted.
Well, they are sort of out of position because of the games that they've played, the amount of games that they've played.
Yeah, true. The teams around them, obviously, yeah, they are up to date.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting. But now let's talk then. Let's talk about Graham Potter.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't understand what's going on at Chelsea.
I don't.
I mean,
and
this amount of players. I mean, Aubameyang's on the bench, but he's not in your Champions League squad.
Yep.
He just needs to get. I don't feel like he's in control of what's going on.
It doesn't look like it. They look very disjointed. They didn't create an awful lot.
Didn't create anything.
They had a couple of shots that.
Fraser Forster were quite comfortable for him though. Weren't
Fraser Forster, he patted one down that gave me nearly a heart attack. But yeah. But no, they look. I mean, they tried to knock it around. To be fair to them.
Yeah.
They just weren't getting anywhere. Raheem Sterling was the big player for them. He played particularly well, I thought. Well, out of all of them,
he is a level above the. He's been there, he's done it. He's the one player that they have. I mean, outside of maybe Thiago Silva, who's now probably out for the rest of the season.
No, only a couple of weeks, I reckon.
Oh, okay. So I read it. I thought he had ligament damage. I thought I'd read.
I only reckon it's going to be a couple of weeks.
Well, that's not too bad then. Because when I read that headline, I didn't read into it more. When I read the headline. Yeah. Thiago Silva has got ligament damage. I thought, well, that's when you're in your 30s.
It's going to take you a while.
It's a trouble one, but if it's only like a bit of a strain or whatever on them,
it sounds like if they've said it's a couple of weeks, then yeah.
It's only a bit. So it's probably not that serious then, is it? As I first thought when I'd read that headline.
But looking at them, you didn't know whether they were playing a back four or a back three. Reece James just looked like he was just playing wherever he wanted to play.
Yeah. I think
obviously Ziyech was lucky to stay on by all accounts. I mean, I've seen it and I've got my own opinion.
I think it was probably right.
It was probably right, but it was the way that Stuart Atwell went about it. So
I think that there was I think he wanted to have another look at it. I think the only way he could have it.
But he'd already red carded him before he had a look at it.
But I think that was the thing. I think the process for him to be able to look at it again, he had to give the red card, right?
Yeah.
My understanding is he had to give the red card so that VAR could give him the option to go and look.
But then that's daft, isn't it?
That was my takeaway from.
That's probably the interpretation, but that's a daft way of doing it.
Yeah.
If the referee wants to go and have a look at something, he should say, "I want to go and have a look."
I want to go and have a look at this. I agree 100%. But apparently that's kind of the protocol that they had to go through for him to be able to go and have a look at it.
I was watching the England versus Wales game at the weekend to switch competition.
Yeah. And this is in the Six Nations, everyone.
In the Six Nations, yeah. England had a try.
Yeah.
The referee went, "That's a try."
Yeah.
And obviously it goes up to the TMO.
Yeah.
And they couldn't rule it out because you couldn't see where the ball was. So
that's
they went with the on-field decision.
Well, they say, don't they? The referees normally say in rugby, they're quite clear in what they say. They normally say, "Is there any reason for why I can't award a try?" That is so, or they say try or no try. So they have two very, very distinct questions that they ask in TMO. Rugby. Yeah, but I mean that's a different type of decision, though, isn't it? That's like a goal, no goal.
But is that situation. Not what we should be doing with the VAR? And in Ziyech's case, should we not be going? Excuse me, Mr. VAR. I want to send him off. Is there a reason why it should only be a yellow card?
Yeah, that kind of makes sense as a thing, but I think because of the way we've gone with the referee on the field has the final decision.
Yeah.
Rather than with other sports, with rugby union in particular, if we're using that as the comparison, the TMO will make decisions.
Yeah.
Whereas in football, for the reasons that I sort of agree with, but then also don't agree with, because the idea is that the referee on the field has a judge for the game, has a judge for this. Well, actually, do you not want to take the emotion out of it at that point and have a clinical look at at a decision like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
everyone talks around, oh well, the ref has a feel for the game on the pitch and he knows really how to deal with any certain situation. Well, actually, I think you should be more clinical in this, because this is how we're ending up with all these inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Take that issue away from the referee in that aspect, and have VAR make decisions rather than suggest in those sort of situations.
Yeah.
I just think I think it's more clinical that way, and it takes away the emotion that the referee's feeling from a crowd, from the players around him.
Because, with all due respect to Stuart Atwell, he is not the greatest referee in the world. He is the man. Obviously, many years ago, he missed the goal at Watford, didn't he? He thought it went in when it hit the side netting.
Yeah.
So, he isn't the greatest referee in the world, but then there aren't that many good ones anymore, I don't think. We're a very average sort of set of referees that we have in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think probably what helped Ziyech, though, in that case, was seeing Emerson barge into the back of him.
Yeah.
Because then it's still, the ref kind of thought, okay, I can see why he's kind of thrown an arm out there.
But then he strikes an opponent. Is that not a red card?
No. I just think that's, he's not a closed fist. He hasn't gone full palm to his face. He hasn't strung alarm. He's just kind of thrown his arm out there.
Yeah.
But because he's in his little, a bit of red mist has gone on.
Yeah.
He's just gone a bit high. I don't think he was aiming for his face, kind of thing. I just think he's kind of pushed out and he's kind of rode up his arm onto his face rather than.
To be fair, it makes a better game him being on the field, because if they'd gone down to 10 men before half time, they would have closed up shop.
Yeah, and they probably beat you, let's be honest. We know what Tottenham are like playing against 10.
If they close up shop, they probably do beat us on the counter. Yeah. But what a day for Mr. Oliver Skip.
I was about to mention Oliver Skip's goal. What was it, like 27 seconds into the second half or something like that?
And it all comes from a kind of a mix-up at the back with Kepa.
Yeah.
He makes an initial save from the Royale shot, gets it taken away from him, and we work it to the edge of the box. And I was harsh at the time, and I thought he should have saved it. Looking at it again,
are you joking?
He does it very well.
Are you joking? It hits the underside of the bar.
He does save it. Obviously, he tips it onto the bar.
Yeah, but I mean, the trajectory of it and the pace that he hit it at. And he's only 8. He's not as if he was 20, 30 yards out. He's 18 yards out.
I mean,
was he inside the box?
I only get one look at it.
Unbelievable. You've had a go at the keeper there.
I mean, I wasn't having a go at him. I was laughing my head off because Oliver Skip scored his first ever goal.
I mean, it was a hell of a strike.
It was. Very good strike. Very good strike. Deserved it, Skippy. I thought he played well Saturday. Sunday.
Yeah.
It wasn't alone, but he did play well. And then obviously Mr. Kane, if you're going to leave him unmarked in your 6-yard box, you're going to tap it in, isn't he?
Yeah, well, this is his little glory run now towards the end of the season with Tottenham before he goes to a proper football club.
Oh.
So he'll take his move in the summer.
I don't. We'll see what happens in the summer. There's a lot of things that are going to happen at the Lane in the summer.
Yeah, including the building of a go-kart track.
Building of a go-kart track underneath. Want to go?
I genuinely actually think that would be a fun day. I'm not even joking. Apparently, it's got to be the biggest indoor track or something.
Yeah, it's going to be completely electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Tottenham's 15-year deal with Formula One, by the way, if you're wondering what we're talking about.
15-year deal. Yeah.
They'll be doing a lot of work with Formula One. I mean, it looks like Tottenham are concentrating on a lot of other sports and just not concentrating on football. And I would like to say that it is another win without Conte on the touchline.
Yes.
Is that 3 in a row now? When he's not been there?
No, because we lost to Milan.
But he was there, wasn't he?
Milan. Yeah.
He was there for that game in Italy.
Yeah.
I'm saying you need to just go, why are we even paying this man?
Well, obviously it's manager of the month's time, and there is a thing.
There's no way that Conte is winning manager. Imagine if Conte wins manager of the month and he's not even there. I would love that. That'd be so funny.
He's been nominated for manager of the month, but obviously
He's not
technically
played
hasn't been
any.
in charge.
He's not been there. How can you give him manager of the month? He's not even been at the club, let alone the games. He's not even training the players.
He's watching from home.
He's watching. Yeah, watching. He ain't doing nothing. Trust me. I'm fully convinced that. I can't remember the guy's name, so forgive me.
Christian Stellini.
Yeah, I think he's in charge of that. Everything going on at that football club right now.
I wouldn't like to comment.
I'm 100% convinced, and I think you just need to go right. Conte, do you know what? Stay where you are. Your man's got this. He's actually your new manager. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, he must just add such an atmosphere to that place. Like, that's my instinct tells me is that Conte is actually.
We've been talking a lot about Emerson Royale over the last week.
Yeah,
couple of
he's
weeks.
been brilliant. When Conte is not shouting at him from the sideline, what I assume is happening, he seems like he given a bit of freedom. He can actually play football.
Who would have thought it?
You're not getting shouted at. It reminded me a lot of what David Moyes used to do to Nani.
Right. Okay.
I was there for like a pre-season game at Old Trafford, and I was sat next to the dugout. It was Rio Ferdinand's testimonial.
Right.
And the amount of times I saw David Moyes go out to Nani, just go, Nani, take him on, go past him, and Nani's just stood there going, will you shut up and let me do my job? And he was doing the same to Alex Butner as well, if you remember him.
I remember Alex Butler, yeah.
And he was just shouting at him. I was like, oh, just shut up. No wonder if that was just shouting at you. You know what I mean?
Manchester United have had a very good number of left backs over the years. I think Alex Butner is probably towards the bottom of that list.
I mean, to be fair to him, I thought he was okay in the games that he played. He did decent, but I mean, he was never going to be a world beater by any stretch of the imagination.
No. Dennis Irwin, he was not.
He was not Dennis Irwin. He was not Patrice Evra. He's no Luke Shaw or even a Tyrell Malacia. Fabio, not Fabinho. He's a different man.
Fabio.
He's the guy that can't press in Liverpool's midfield.
Yeah.
Fabio, Raphael. Well, of course, we had the twins, but I always find it weird actually because Raphael, I think, had a bit more talent than Fabio, and I think the only reason Fabio got his deal at United was because actually they wanted Raphael.
Maybe.
But I love the twins. I think they're both brilliant.
When we bought Kyle Walker, we bought Kyle Norton as well. Does anyone remember Kyle Norton?
No.
Exactly.
It's hardly like I don't think it was the same situation, though, was it?
Not quite the same.
He needs another Kyle here to help him settle in. No, we went and got a pair of twins, and we didn't want them to be separated, so we took both of them.
Fair enough.
But no,
we've digressed.
I think Tottenham are starting to look better, but I think when Conte gets back on the sideline, I think all Tottenham fans need to be worried.
We've got 13 games to go. Let's see what we can do.
Let's see if we can keep him away. 13 more league games. And who knows if you can turn around. Your second leg's at home, isn't it? Against Milan.
Second leg's at home, yeah.
You're only a goal down?
Only a goal down. I fancy we'll beat Milan next week.
It's doable. It's definitely doable. Right then, what else going on in the Premier League? Because I was a bit worried at half time when I was watching when I was looking at the scores for the 3:00 games. Because they were all 0-0 at half time.
They were. But the London Stadium had a lot of goals in the second half.
It did. So West Ham.
Big win for West Ham.
Much needed with a team in and around them. Danny Ings with a couple of quick fire goals.
Yeah,
couple of minutes.
Rice was probably the pick of the bunch.
Yeah, with an absolute screamer. And then Michael Antonio.
Yeah.
Setting up. So good. A very, very much needed win for West Ham.
Needed win for them, given what happened elsewhere.
Oh,
They took advantage of everybody else other than Leeds not picking up a point. Yeah.
Yeah. And even Leeds drew, didn't they?
No, Leeds won.
No, they beat Southampton, didn't they, of course?
Yeah.
They beat Southampton, which was huge. Because it just starts creating a little bit of separation, doesn't it, to the bottom three?
It does. Junior Firpo with the goal for Leeds.
Yeah.
With
Southampton.
his right foot.
Southampton are in trouble.
Well, they've gone from beating Chelsea last week to losing to Leeds this week.
I think that we're probably going to lose. I think that's more of a reflection of the state that Chelsea are in.
Probably.
than a recovery from Southampton, if we're being brutally honest.
They've given the job to the guy that was the stand-in for the rest of the season.
Yeah, which is never a good sign. I think they're gone. I honestly think they're gone. They've run out of ideas, haven't they? They can't get a new manager. They can't bring anybody. You know, they're struggling, so they've just gone. Do you know what? I think that part of the board at Southampton may already be just going, right, let's just plan for a bounce back next year.
I mean, the way that they spent in the summer suggested that they were willing to have a different take on it anyway, and it kind of hasn't worked. But it makes sense that you saying that.
But they're not cut. The thing is, they're not cut adrift.
They're not. No,
they're only
obviously 3 teams need to go down.
Points. Yeah, they're 4 points off safety, which is a gap. But they're bottom, and all the way up to Forest, maybe even Palace. Got to be looking over their shoulders.
Yeah, they're going to say they start to get nervy. Some of those because Palace can't buy a win.
Wolves are struggling.
Wolves had a little bit of a bounce and have now gone back to type. Yeah.
Yeah, with the loss. Well, it was a draw, wasn't it, with Fulham on the Friday night?
Yeah. A reasonable draw with a side that are playing very well, to be fair.
Yeah.
To Wolves. Yeah.
I just feel
Leicester lost to Arsenal.
Yeah, but I thought they gave a good show of themselves again.
They did, yeah. Obviously, Arsenal...
They were strong, but Arsenal just kept probing. Arsenal just kept probing, and the quality eventually shone through, didn't it, for Arsenal?
Yeah, it did. And they've bounced back well, Arsenal, from their little blip.
Yeah, and they needed
2 points
to.
Clear. Still a game in hand.
Absolutely, and they go... Well, they've got Bournemouth at home next week as well, so...
Fill your boots.
Yeah. If we're being brutal. I mean, it's a tough run for Bournemouth, going from City to Arsenal.
But they're the games that you kind of look at it and you just go, do you know what? If we get something out of it,
it's a bonus.
It's a bonus point, yeah.
But I don't think Arsenal will slip up there.
No.
But I
was
been wrong before.
surprised that Aston Villa beat Everton, if I was brutally honest.
I just think the thing is now, with someone like Unai Emery in there, they've got a proper football coach in there.
Yeah.
A proper tactician. And I think that's what's, when you looked at Villa's performance against Arsenal, they were good.
Yeah, they were unlucky.
They were good. And I think he's kind of got them in a place now, hasn't he, where they're playing well. And they've got enough quality in the team. I mean, Ollie Watkins is on fire at the minute.
Yeah, 5 in 5 for Ollie. Yep.
Yeah, the first ever Villa player to do that, I think, in the Premier League era.
Yes, indeed.
It's looking good, I think, for Villa. They might not trouble the top half of the table too much at this point.
No,
I think they were too far. They were too far back, I think, in the first place.
What are the chances of Chelsea finishing in the top half, do you reckon?
Chelsea finishing in the top half? Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a point. I mean, they've joined on they're level with Villa, aren't they? At the minute, they're only there
level on points with Villa. Yeah.
When they've both got negative goal. Chelsea got negative goal difference after
Chelsea
24
have only
games.
Scored 23 goals.
Well, haven't they? They only scored 1 goal in February.
Yeah. Which was Wow Felix goal at
Wow Felix, yeah. And I've seen a great little TikTok about
the goal of the month competition.
Goal of the month. Best pass of the season, best assist of the season, best. It just repeats all the different things, but they're just replaying the same goal over and over again. It was very funny.
It was very funny. I saw that. It was very funny.
So, yeah, Chelsea. I don't. Blimey. I mean, they're only on 31 points.
Yeah, they're only 10 points away from relegation.
Yeah, they're closer to the bottom 3 than they are to the top 4.
Yeah, they are.
That's. I don't think they'll go. I don't think they'll go down.
Of course,
that's a silly thought. But I tell you what, they need to start finding a way of scoring goals.
Otherwise, they're going to get swallowed up by the teams below them. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, they very much could find themselves. If they have, I mean, I think if Graham Potter, I think he could be gone by the end of March.
Well, they're saying the next 2 games are the most critical ones for him.
Yeah, I think he could be gone.
Which is a shame, because I don't think he should be given time.
Yeah, I don't think it's any fault of his own. I think he's been just given this really, really rubbish situation.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. It is so... Like, we talked about it last week, but just to be thrown in the way that he has been thrown in.
Yeah.
And gone, okay, here you go. Todd Bowley. I mean,
players. Yeah.
Well, the story goes that Todd Bowley was just watching the World Cup final and went, "Oh, I'll have him." When he was watching Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
That's genuinely the story that's doing the rounds.
Yeah.
That he's just picking players, and then it's like, well, selection wise. I mean, we talked about Chelsea already, but I mean, just circling back, I know, but it's troubling.
Yeah.
And if you're a Chelsea fan,
we've even started a petition to try and get rid of him.
Well, yeah, but I don't think. Who do you bring in?
Potter's not the problem.
Exactly. Who do you bring in? He's someone who's got to be compliant with Todd Bowley. None of the top managers are going to be compliant to this degree.
No.
But I think what you do need is someone to go in there, really take charge of that situation. And maybe this is where Graham Potter's confidence of taking a club at this level at this point in his career isn't there.
No.
For him just to go, right, these are the players I'm going to be working with for the rest of the season. You lot, I'm sorry, but you're going over there. You're out of the way, and this is the group. You are the guys that are going to improve this team and move us forward. Problem then being that he'd have to start getting results fast. Otherwise, you start getting questioned. Well, why is he not in the team? Why he's not there? So there's still pressure with that. But at least it'd give him kind of a place to go, right, I feel more in control of my situation than I did a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because having 30-odd players in your squad is horrendous to deal with, I imagine. 30 internationals as well, by the way, probably.
Yeah. Most, the majority of them, definitely.
Top-level players who want to play week in, week out, who in most other clubs probably would be playing week in, week out.
Yeah.
And that is a real... If you haven't got the experience of dealing with that, it's tricky. And especially at that level. I don't think any managers had to deal with that sort of level of player to deal with.
No. You feel so sorry for him. Don't get me wrong. It's Chelsea. It's funny to see them struggling. After all what's been happening over the last couple of years and how much money they've spent over the last 15, 20 years. But you feel sorry for Graham Potter.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a happy place at all.
No.
But I think overall that's sort of it, really. Premier League.
We've kind of gone around in circles, but we've ended up at the end. So obviously we've got the FA Cup and that this week. But for now, shall we have a little look and see what's going on around the world? Indeed, I will take us around the world, where we start with the Bundesliga title race, where Bayern and Union Berlin collided at last. But it was all wrapped up by half-time by Bayern as they won by 3-0. Dortmund had briefly taken over at top spot on Saturday after they beat Hoffenheim by 1-0. Dortmund and Bayern meet on April the 1st, no joke. Napoli's Serie A title is surely only going to be a formality as their lead has grown to 18 after they beat Empoli as Inter were losing to Bologna. In Spain, Barcelona missed the chance to open up a 10-point gap to Real after they lost to Almeria to compound a miserable week for them after losing to Manchester United in the Europa League. Real Madrid were held by Atletico in the derby after they were rescued by their next big thing, Alvaro. He's got his first goal for them. In France, PSG's grip on their title tightens as they beat their closest challengers Marseille by 3-0 with Messi grabbing his 700th goal in the process. Monaco lost and Lens drew as the chasing pack really had a bad weekend. To Saudi Arabia, where Ronaldo scored a hat-trick as Al Nassr beat Damak to open up a 2-point lead after Al Ittihad were held. In the A-League, after the disappointment of losing the derby last weekend, Melbourne City bounced back by beating Sydney FC 3-2. Their lead is up to 9 at the top. In the 5th round of the Women's FA Cup, Chelsea continued their defence of their crown by knocking out Arsenal. Tottenham lost on penalties to Reading. The other sides through to the next round of Manchester United, Brighton lose. Manchester City, Birmingham and Aston Villa. And finally, the MLS is back with the 29th franchise at St. Louis City making their debut with a 3-2 win over Austin. Wayne Rooney's DC United also got off to a winning start with former Crystal Palace and Aston Villa striker Christian Benteke among the goals.
I didn't even realise Benteke had gone.
No, neither did I until I saw his name on the score sheet.
I thought, is he still not at Palace?
No, he's out in America.
He's gone. Didn't even realise. I mean, that's a great signing for DC, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. Well, that's good fun. I mean, Napoli, by the way, they are a proper team.
Romping the title.
Well, even like in the Champions League last week, I was watching them. They're a proper team.
Yeah.
They're up there. Do you know what I mean? That whole from front to back.
Well. Yeah.
They are very, very good. It is like being back in the 1980s.
Yes, because it's been a long time since Napoli have won the title.
Yeah, well, probably Maradona days, right?
Maybe a little bit later than that. I think they won the title in the late 1990s.
Okay.
I think not sure.
But no, big. I mean, for the people of Naples and the fan base for them, it's been a long time either way.
Do we want to talk about the best FIFA Football Awards?
The best FIFA Football Awards. Oh, it's a great name. Very inventive.
I wonder what it celebrates.
But I mean, yes, of course we do, because let's start with the best woman goalkeeper on the planet, Mary Earps.
Mary Earps.
Manchester United's Mary Earps. Euro winner, of course, with England.
Yeah.
What a footballer. What a goalkeeper.
Indeed. Yeah.
And then
she was very good at the Euros.
Yeah, but she's been brilliant for United as well this season.
Yeah.
Fully deserves
where you
that.
are in the table. Yeah.
And I follow her on TikTok as well. She's very amusing.
Okay, fair enough.
She's very funny. And then obviously,
does she follow you?
I doubt it very much. I doubt it. She doesn't even know who I am, let's be honest. And then also a double for United, because Casemiro was also named in the best 11.
Yeah.
Which of course Van Dijk got picked in that, by the way.
Yeah, but it's over last year, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, they were shocking. Liverpool have been shocking all season. And Van Dijk, I mean, he was injured before. Well, no, he wasn't injured. Was he injured before the World Cup?
No. He was all right, I think.
It was after the World Cup. But I mean, Liverpool have been rubbish anyway, so I really don't understand. I mean, they really dated that back. It's probably the end of last season, really.
Yeah, probably.
But they wanted to get
company though with Kimi and Cancelo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have played well, apart from Cancelo not playing for the last 4 months of the year. But there is that.
No Harry Kane though. No
Harry Kane, but they did shoehorn 4 attackers in.
Well, they did last year as well.
Yeah, maybe that's just the way they like to do it.
Maybe they've just changed it up a little bit. Yeah, but they did shoehorn another striker in.
Yeah, and Messi won the best male player, didn't he?
Well, I would imagine if you were going to put this into a formation, I would imagine you'd have probably Haaland down the centre.
Yeah.
You'd have Benzema out on the left, maybe.
No.
Mbappe on the right with Messi as the 10.
No.
No.
I mean, you just leave it like they are. You play I mean, to be honest,
play a front 4 like that.
You'd have Messi and basically.
Well, I suppose you could play 2 up top and then 2 out on the wings, couldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't take Benzema. You can't put Benzema on the left wing. If anything, you want to drop Benzema into a 10.
Yeah, but then that's Messi out on the wing.
Well, Messi is good out on the wing.
I would rather have Messi in the middle of the pitch, but then that's just me.
I mean, if anything, because you're not going to. Haaland's an out-and-out 9.
Yeah.
But I think that Benzema a lot of the time when he played with Ronaldo used to drop off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, he can do that. But I mean, that front four would do damage in any league. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And obviously, the England women's manager, she got an award as well. It's the third time she's won it.
Well, I'm not surprised. She's never lost a tournament game in her career as a manager. International management.
She would finish third last year.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Well, Emma Hayes won it last
year. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, Chelsea
did sweep a lot.
Yeah. That Chelsea team played very, very well. Lots of good things coming out of that, and very, very, very good place to be. Right then, so we've gone around the world. We talked about best, and speaking of best, we must of course talk about Donis Avdijaj. How is Donis' season going?
Well, for the first time in a while, he's completed 90 minutes.
Let's go, Donis. Look at that. Contributing.
He didn't get taken off.
Okay.
They did lose, but he didn't get taken off.
He didn't get taken off, and I think that's... Oh, please do something soon.
It's a marked improvement. They lost 3-0 to Ostia Wien.
Yeah.
So yeah, the winning run lasted one.
I mean, hey, you're fighting down the bottom of the league.
Yeah, but Donis will drag them up. I'm sure of that.
Let's hope so. Okay then. So we've got FA Cup fixtures in the week. Obviously, we probably won't be covering them, but there is a full Premier League program at the weekend.
Full Premier League program this weekend.
Let's have a little look.
We are entering March. We are entering March. Crazy.
Yeah. So let's have a little look at. Let's have a little look at those fixtures, shall we?
Yeah. So Manchester City, as we mentioned, play Newcastle in the 12:30 game on Saturday. Chelsea versus Leeds at 3:00, with Arsenal and Bournemouth all at that time. Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Brighton, West Ham, Wolves against Tottenham as well in your 3:00 games. The 5:30 game, strange one at 5:30. Southampton versus Leicester. But I suppose we've all got to be on the telly at some time. Sunday games, it's Nottingham Forest versus Everton at 2:00, before Liverpool and Manchester United at 4:30. And then a London derby on Monday Night Football. Brentford taking on Fulham.
Very, very good games. I hate the Anfield game. It's one of the most nerve-wracking games ever as a United fan.
And considering they have now started to turn up.
Well, they have a bit, but we're still very, very strong. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not making any silly
Leeds
predictions.
Beat Chelsea? That's the biggest thing this weekend.
Yeah, that is a big question, and is indeed very possible. But yeah, so thank you very much for listening this week. We'll be back next week. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with us, you can tweet us at Let's Football Pod. You can email us at letsfootballpod@gmail.com. But in the meantime, we'll be back with all the big news from the weekend in the Premier League. So have a nice week, enjoy the football, and we'll see you all next week. All right.
Bye.
Bye.